Welcome back, and we're here at the Chrissy B Show. We're covering the topic of successful women in business. And without further ado, please welcome our special guests, business mentors Chelsey Baker and Jonathan Farr, and successful entrepreneur Arina Osiannaya. Welcome, everybody.
Hi.
How are you?
Very well, thank you.
So good to have you all on. Obviously, our viewers know Jonathan here, who's our resident business expert.
Yes, indeed.
How
Good
are
to be
you?
back. I'm very well. Always a pleasure to be here.
Brilliant. So you're also going to be giving us your input today on these lovely ladies that we have on the programme today.
Indeed. When the show asked me if I knew any successful women in business, I'm so glad they did, because we know many, and it's an absolute pleasure to welcome not just one but three of them tonight. So it's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Okay, so let's start with Chelsey first of all. Can you tell us about your background and what you do exactly? And
Wow, where do I start? Okay,
I know it's quite a long list, isn't it?
Background is primarily 20 years in media, marketing and communications, PR, and more recently I've won quite a few awards for my work as a award-winning business mentor. Worked for the Rockstar Group for I think it's about 4 or 5 years now.
It has been.
Wow.
Mentored hundreds of companies, and it's just been absolutely amazing. And we've seen such a huge rise in the whole entrepreneurial, kind of spirit, and everybody thinks that they can set up their own business, and that's where Rockstar and the hub and everything comes into it, because it's very scary setting up your own business and going for it, and it can be actually quite lonely at times. So we've had the pleasure of welcoming in Arina and the other guest Luna to the hub, and it's absolutely exciting, and it's just a very fast-paced society at the moment with certainly with the business startups.
How do you feel when you see people sort of coming in and getting that help, and then seeing them become successful? It must be great for you as well.
Well, it's the ultimate reward. I absolutely love it. I mean, that's what drives me, that's what gets me out of bed every day. I love mentoring, I love working with companies, especially the startups. I think really it's just so critical that they get the right advice early on, so that we're here to steer them down the right path and make sure that they don't make these critical mistakes, and that they can actually overcome challenges and things, because some businesses, if they don't get the right advice early on, they perhaps never recover. So it's quite important to be guided by somebody, not just your parents or your auntie or your friend. It's important to seek the right advice.
Okay, so we've got the lovely Arina here. How are you, my love?
Thank you.
So you are a successful entrepreneur. So can you tell us how it all started for you, where you got your idea from, and tell the viewers what it is?
Oh, well, I'm running the Business Funding Show, that's the first ever UK exhibition on funding for small and medium businesses.
Okay.
And what we aim to do to close the funding gap between finance providers and SMEs. And what we've seen that there was actually so many providers on one hand, so many businesses who are looking for funding, but apparently they still cannot meet. Well, we've been looking what's going on, and found that only 15% of the businesses actually have sufficient knowledge and understanding of what it takes to get funding, who they need to approach, what they need to do for this. And that's how idea came to us, so that we cannot afford to ignore 85% of remaining businesses if we really want to build strong economy, and if we really want to bring some impact and to close this gap.
So you went for it. You really went for it, didn't you? Because so you saw this gap, and you because I think a lot of people see gaps in the market, and they see needs for things, but they don't kind of do anything about it. What made you really jump in and say, I'm going to do something about this, I'm going to make it work?
Wow. What I think, from my childhood, I've been dreaming about becoming a politician.
Oh, okay.
I spent something, I don't know, maybe 10 years before I entered the most prestigious academy to do my master's. Then I spent some time working for public organizations, and I found that it's quite slow environment. If you really want to bring notable impact to society, you need to go into business world. And then you're looking for opportunities, you're looking for demands, and how to help, what you can do for society. So it's actually all my passion came with previous experience, knowledge, with all these connections. So everything came logically to that end.
So do you wake up every morning looking forward to going to work? Or is it kind of tough sometimes?
I think there is no choice about, you don't have time to think, because for me, the first rule of the business, if you want to achieve something, if you want to establish yourself in the business world, you need to commit to what you promise. You need to deliver on your promises, no matter what's happening. You have bad mood, you have some problems, whatsoever going on. You need to forget if you're really going somewhere. If you want to achieve success, you just focus on results, no matter what limitations are.
So Chelsey and Jonathan, what do you think about this remarkable young lady doing this?
I think she's brave. I mean, you don't wake up one morning and say, I'm going to set up my own business funding show. I just think, well done to you, Arina. It's very brave of what you've done, and obviously, a fantastic idea.
What are your future plans, Arina? Dare I ask? Because I've got a feeling you're going places.
Well, my first future plan obviously to bring at least 120 of finance providers to our show and minimum of 5,000 business sales. But with this, I'm quite relaxed because we already have got over 4,000 businesses signed to the show.
Wow.
Despite the show is happening in February, which is great, and it shows strong demands and needs. And then we're going to expand and make the show bigger, and hopefully we're going to help to finally narrow this gap, help the businesses understand what they need, what it takes, and to establish better this dialogue and break these barriers between finance providers and businesses.
Brilliant, that's
and
excellent.
just to add to that as well, when Arina first presented the opportunity to us, who is a mentoring and investment company, no one has done it before. This is a time now when there are so many businesses in London who are growing and looking for investment. It was such a simple idea, but no one had done it before. And that's what's great about the business. Everyone who looks for investment, come along. Everyone who provides investment, pay to be there, because we will guarantee you thousands of businesses and thousands of clients. And with that niche, that's why we jumped on board and we've become one of the key sponsors of it. And where Arina's now in the hub, and we're helping make this a success because it should be. It's an absolute game changer, and she's a pleasure, absolutely pleasure to work with, and I'm sure it'll be a fantastic show.
Definitely.
We're quite lucky getting them on site.
They're both great, right? Now tell us, what advice would you give to maybe our viewers at home that are thinking of going for, maybe they've got a business idea, but they're a bit scared maybe to take that step to leave a job or to start something new? What would you say to them?
Well, first of all, I would say there is never a good time. If you want to do something, go and do it. But obviously, you cannot just start from scratch, like Chelsey said. Oh, one morning she woke up and decided to do the business funding show. Yeah, maybe one morning I decided to do it, but how long time before it took the preparation to know the industry, to meet people from the industry, to speak to competitors, to providers, to bring all the expertise together and to understand the market and how to make it. Obviously, you need to do thorough research. You need to understand where you're going. If you lack some of the knowledge, go and find where they are. And then just go and do it. Because after, when you have already all the background, and if you procrastinate and hesitate taking actions, it's never going to happen. Then you can just feel safe, stay at your job, and maybe business isn't for you if you don't take actions. Business is about actions and hard work, and focus on results. Go there and you will achieve success.
I see the passion in her eyes when she's talking.
Absolutely.
I feel like I should go and do something like that.
Very well. It's brave.
Okay, so Chelsey, tell us a bit more about you as well, because you're both going to be staying on for the next part of the show, because you have another successful entrepreneur coming on. Tell us a bit more about yourself and the success that you've achieved.
Wow, my company's Broadcasting Your Business. Like I said, I'm one of the leading mentors for the Rockstar Group, author of the Pocket Mentor, and I've mentored over quite a few hundred businesses now. So I specialise primarily in pitch, press and publicity. So we talked about Arina and the business funding show, and people these days, they have to get their sales pitch across, right? So I'm all about communication. You have to pitch to retailers, you have to pitch to your clients, you have to pitch to customers, you have to pitch to staff. So Broadcasting Your Business, I set that up to primarily create and help entrepreneurs to raise their profile and work with them on their pitching and their press and their publicity. So my background that's led me to where I am today has been very varied. I launched my own TV channel. I traded the stock market for many years. I've last month, or this week rather, I've launched my own national day. So my National Mentoring Day. So, you know, there's no limits to perhaps what I've done or where I'm going. I'm very entrepreneurial, always coming up with different ideas. At the end of the day, I do stuff for me, you know, and I think that's very, very important, that I do what I enjoy. So I've worked, like I said, in very, very different, diverse sectors. And, you know, I spent 2-3 years as a writer. I wrote for top business magazines, had hundreds of business articles published. Wow. And all this helps me to mentor other companies.
And this is what I'm saying, because there's such a wealth of knowledge between the two of you as well. So
I mean, that's what mentoring
it's brilliant.
is.
Yeah, it's brilliant that, you know, businesses can get that advice and get that guidance.
It's all about passing on our experience and passing on our knowledge.
All right. So do stay with us, because after the break, thank you so much for sharing your story. You did great. Brilliant. And all the best for February. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. And after the break, we're going to have another entrepreneur joining us to tell us about her venture and how she's doing with it. And we're also going to be getting some more advice by our experts here. So don't go away.